Well, good morning everybody. How are you today? It's Sharon Hankins here with you on Essential Stencils page today. I'm from the blog I Restore Stuff and I'm here to show you another DIY project for today. So let me know when you're tuning in, where you're watching from. Maybe you're watching the replay. If you are watching the replay, let me know. Comment the word replay and you will go in the chance to win a prize in the 24 hours after we're live. But if you're watching here live and you see the little red live button up in the top of the corner there, then we're live and you can have a chance to win one of 3 gift vouchers, $20 gift vouchers for Essential Stencil, where you can purchase some stencils or transfers now. So I'm going to be using some of the transfers that have just been restocked this week. So if you missed out on some of those, or you're needing more of those because they're a single-use item, then you can get them here today using my code I Restore Stuff for anything on Essential Stencils site today. That's the code you'll need. You'll save yourself 10%, and some of those things are on sale at the moment, or they are in a bundle deal. So with the transfers, the more you purchase, the more you save. So we've got today restocked, we've got the Country Fields Lavender Market, so I'm going to be using that today, and that one's restocked. So that's a single transfer and it's a single use. So if you order 3 of them, you save, and I haven't got the prices in my head, so you can just click on the link and have a look. But you purchase 2, you save. If you purchase 3, you save more, and so the more you purchase, the more you save. So we'll be using that one in a minute. Also the honeybees transfers, which I've cut up and I've dropped them. That's the 2-sheet set, so there's 2 sheets of transfers there. They're back in stock, so I'll try and use those today also. A couple of things we'll be doing today, and you might want to let everybody else know, so if you haven't sprinkled yet, then you can hit that little share button and sprinkle this out. Hello everyone, saying hello, and hello to Olive too. Yes, she's making an appearance already with her barking. So she's our little cavoodle, we call them here in Australia. I think you have the same breeds together over there. Breed of dog, you would cross a poodle and a cavalier, a King Charles Spaniel, and you might call them a cavapoo. We call them a cavoodle over here. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to be showing you a couple of things today. You might want to save this live or share it to your page so that you can have it there for future reference. But I'm going to be using this crate today, a large crate. This one's from our IKEA, but I do have an Amazon affiliate link where I've posted a few, I've got like a whole list of items that I often use for stenciling or stenciling things on in my lives. And so you can ask for that Amazon affiliate link and I can send you that. But this is a crate and I've measured the size. This is quite a large one. Now what we're going to be doing is, you can see that has these, I've had them put together for some time, and so the pine has actually gotten a bit more yellowy orange over time. You can see that one looks a little bit more orange, this one's a little bit more orange, and I've started to create a wash. So I did some this morning and it has dried now, but I want to show you how you can counteract. So if you've got a piece of furniture that you want to whitewash or light wash, create a lighter tone, I'm going to show you some ways that you can counteract that orange tone in your wood surface. So we're going to use that as a background, and then we're going to put this gorgeous lavender transfer over the top of that. So that's one thing we'll be doing today. The other thing we'll be doing is creating a lovely round using this Romans 12:12 stencil. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Gorgeous. We'll put that together with some decorating with the honeybees transfers. So are you ready? Are you ready to join me? And let's chat. Essential Stencil has posted the link there for the description of the live and pinned it to the top comments, so you'll be able to find all of the things that we're working with today. I didn't put a link there for the crate, or the sign round, but you can find these rounds probably in your craft stores. It's actually comes with a handy stapled on rope. It's quite a thin ply, but I found this, I can't remember where I found it actually, probably at Kmart or one of those craft stores that we have here in Australia. Someone asked what the weather was like today. Well, I'm wearing my, I want to call it a jumper because we call this a jumper here in Australia, but it's a sweater. knitted sweater. So it is cold, but the sun's coming out. So it's one of those where it's cold in the morning, cold at night, but then it warms up through the day. So it's actually lovely weather outside. Just measuring this up for you. It's about 11-inch round. So you could use some of the round stencils on this kind of a round. I'm going to put our crate aside just for a minute while I just paint the basic round. I'm going to paint a white background. Really easy, really simple. So let's see, where are you all coming from? Donna is here from Florida. Paula's watching, Cheryl's watching. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and thank you for sharing our live this morning. Oh, this morning. It's this evening there in the USA. Let's see, which way have I got to move it? There we go. So we're in the center. Might have a little bit of a shadow there, but so I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint Color Casement to just create a nice white background for our sign today. And if you haven't already, you could see the link there in the description of the live. I am a retailer for Fusion Mineral Paint over here in Australia. So if you are from Australia, you can easily get that on my online shop. Or if you're in Brisbane anytime, I do have a little booth at the Camp Hill Antique Centre where I stock furniture that I've painted and signs and all the things, and I sell the paint there too. But if you're in the USA, I've got an affiliate link there for you that you can use and get 10% off using my code I Restore Stuff, using that at the Fusion link that's in the description of the live there. So I'm just painting this round, and I feel like you could paint the sides. I may do those after, just for sake of time today. But this is a nice true white. It's not pure white because it has just a slight undertone of something. I don't know, maybe it's a greyish undertone or just a slightly warm undertone. But it's such a beautiful white, and a lot of people, it's one of the most popular whites. So if people are saying, I want a white, well, casement or picket fence in the Fusion range are your whitest whites. And so this, as you can see, I'm painting on raw wood. So often when I paint furniture here in my business called I Restore Stuff, which is what I do. I paint furniture and home decor, recycle it, upcycle it, make it look new again for people to enjoy. Or I teach others actually in workshops how to paint furniture in your own home. So I've got a blog, irestorestuff.com. If you go to the blog section, you'll see so many different examples of painting furniture using this. It's absolutely beautiful paint to work with. So you can see that it's one coat is not going to fully cover our pine board here. It does, you probably can't tell on the video. We've got plywood, so it's just a plywood board. That's the original. And this will, because it's a raw wood, the paint will sort of soak into the grain, and it can even open up the grain fibers. If this was a piece of furniture that I was upcycling, usually furniture already has a sealer or a varnish over the top of it. In those cases, what you want to do is get some sandpaper and go along the grain and scuff the surface of the varnish, and that keys the surface to help the paint to be able to stick. And you can paint that straight on and you won't get the little open grain bits in your wood. So what I will do is I've got my hairdryer here, and I'm going to dry that off so that we can add a second coat, because adding a second coat will actually give you really a lot better coverage. And just move the brush aside so that we don't dry that out. And when you use a dryer, it's a lot quicker process to doing our second coat then. Hello everybody, thank you for commenting on our live today. Lisa says, hello everybody, how are you doing? I'm doing amazing. A lovely day here in Australia. There's the puppy. Good evening, Cindy. Hi, Lisa. Patty's here. Patty's asking what's she doing tonight. Well, stay tuned, Patty. I'll repeat myself a couple of times because I know that people do just join in at random times during our lives. So, Olive, what's the matter? Olive, she's chasing something out there. Sorry, I don't have a microphone with me today. I will have to get that organised another time for future lives. Okay, I've just got a piece of sandpaper here. It's a 220 grit, I think. And so I'm just going to, with a bit of dirt in me. Because I've dried this now, it's fully dry. It's quite a rough surface. You probably can't see that there, but what's happened is the paint soaks into the grain and raises the grain or opens the grain. So I'm just going to go over this. You could do it with a lot smoother or a lot finer grit sandpaper. But that just gives us a nice smooth surface to put our second coat on. So I'm also teaching you today not just stenciling and sign making tips, but some painting for furniture tips. Hello, Olive. What are you doing? What are you doing? Did Daddy put a treat up here? Come here. Come here. Who wants a treat? Hang on. Who wants to see Olive? Olive's joining us today. Come here, darling. Look, we've got a chicken neck. Want a chicken neck? Come. Come. Oh, she's just going to sit down. I'm sorry. Oh, can you see her? Let's see. See if we can see Olive. Here she is. Here she is. She's looking for her chicken neck. Ready? Who's a good girl? Sit. Sit. Olive, sit. Good, sit. Okay, off she goes. And we can get back to crafting. All right, so we've sanded our piece down and we're ready for our second coat now. Just checking that with my fingers. You can just sort of feel a nice smooth finish there. You can wipe that off with, I've only got a wet cloth here. Otherwise I would just use a dry cloth to just dust that off. Donna says I love her markings. Yeah, she's beautiful. Okay, so I've got my paint ready to go here. We're just going to go over with the second coat. It covered pretty well. Fusion does have really good coverage, but with white in any brand of paint, it doesn't matter what you use, generally you'll need a couple of coats. If this was a dark wood, we would probably even need a further third coat. But I think because it's such a light wood, and we just need to use nice long strokes. And notice that I'm starting not on the edge of the board because I don't want this paint to drip over the edge. So I start before the edge and I go this way, and then I come back and I go off the edge that way. So as long as you've got nice smooth strokes end to end, and this is the same principles you would use for painting a piece of furniture. So you've got a nice, I don't know, the furniture leg, for example, you just go end to end along the grain of the wood usually, and it's a bit trickier on rounded surfaces, but I'm trying not to get the paint dripping down over the edge. So we just come right before the edge, go this way, and then coming back, we go off the edge so that you're painting right to the edge. And then hopefully we've got no little drips all around those sides. Those sides are still clean, so I'm not sure what I'll do with those. Maybe I'll paint those afterwards, but it is a little bit fiddly to kind of get around there and paint that. So I might do that. I'll decide later. I can do that. Okay, so that's the colour Casement, which is an off-white colour. And what I didn't bring was just a little plastic bag or something to put my paintbrush in. And for those of you who've been watching me for some time, I just use these bubbles that come out of your packaging, and I cut the tops off so it bursts the bubble, and it's the perfect size for a paintbrush. So there we go, wrap that around, or you can use some cling wrap, saran wrap. Okay, so that's ready now. I'm just going to pop that aside to dry. Don't forget, you can use my code I Restore Stuff and save on any of the stencils. We're going to be using this one for that sign in a minute. But now let's turn our attention to this large crate that I got from IKEA. And it has these golden pine looking surface. So I'm going to have to lift this up a little bit and point it down like so, because this is quite large, so the camera was kind of in its face. So you see how that's kind of quite orangey? Well, the insides I've painted and lightened, so you can see that's a lot lighter look. So I have done this side here. So we're going to transform it from the orangey look to this light whiter look. So see the difference? Orangey look. Let me see if I can even get this up further. Maybe I can just go like that. And so what I did was I looked up, you can search this online for yourself, just Google it, how to, what did I search? Now I need to find what I searched. Nope, can't find it. It was basically how to counteract the orange tones in a piece of wood. So we've got that side and this side to do. I've previously done this side and this side. So here, see how it's lighter. So for orange tones, you want to counteract it with the opposite colour on the colour wheel, which is blue. So for orange, it would be blue. If your wood is more yellow, I feel like this is a little more orange than yellow. Yellow, you'd counteract it with purple, apparently. So there was a little chart that showed you what to do. If you have red toned woods, you can counteract that with green, I believe. So those are some handy tips if you're painting furniture and you're trying to do a whitewash. That's your tip there. So here we go. And yeah, the inside's looking great. It's a lovely white colour. So what I've done, I'm using the colour Mist. This is Fusion Mineral Paint colour Mist, and it has blue undertones. It's a nice periwinkle light pastel colour. So almost like purpley blue. So I thought that'd be a great colour to make a wash with. So what I have done is already created the wash using a bit of water. So you can see how thin it is here when I lift up the brush. I've added water and paint together. So the ratio of that, you could start with maybe 10% paint, 90% water, or maybe 20-80 paint to water, or 50-50. It depends how dark you want your wash to be. So see how that's super runny? It's just very watery, and that's what a paint wash is. So I've mixed water and the mist. And if you need more coats, you can always do a second coat. I found with this one, I have painted the base, so you can sort of see that that's lightened up, and it really has dispelled that orangey look from here. So you're liking that, you love the colour, you can't wait to see it happen. All right, let's have a look. So I've got my brush here. All we're doing is painting this straight on, and I'm being careful not to flick the paint over because my laptop's sitting over at the side there. So be careful not to flick your paint off the edge, just you're running it along the edge, and it's very, very watery. So what we don't want is little start-stop marks. It looks like a lot of paint on there, but I can see that it's quite runny, and that's going to soak into your raw wood. So this is, again, raw pine. It's just from IKEA, but you can get raw pine crates like this in a lot of different places. I did look at the measurements of this one. It's quite large. And I did put it in the description of the live. So don't forget to get your little edges in here, and also these little bits in the middle and also underneath here. So we can go over that a few times. You can see the difference there. And this is all still wet. If we're doing a second coat, that doesn't mean just running your paintbrush over it these 2 times. We've got to do let it completely dry. And when it dries, you'll be able to see more of the wood grain through it. So as I'm painting this on now, I haven't dipped the brush in again to the paint wash, but you can see that there's still plenty on the brush to go around. And that really does take away that orangey look, but also gives it sort of a whitewash. So a little bit better than doing a white paint wash. We've got that with the blue undertones. It counteracts the orange, so you don't see as much of that orange coming through in this look. So let's take that before we do our last side, and I'll dry that with the hairdryer, because those other sides that I showed you earlier, they have had 2 coats. So this is 1 coat, and I'll show you the difference, okay? So you can see as it dries now, you're seeing a lot more of that wood pushing through. It's almost like it soaks right into the grain. And so that first coat will sort of seal the grain a bit, and then the second coat will sit a little bit on top of the wood grain, and then top of that sealed in paint. So there you go, that's one coat, and it does look light, but I think I did 2 coats on this side, and it looks a little bit stronger. Now this is this side, this is before, and this is after. So do you like that? I love how that just really tones down the orangey tones in the crate, and we've got a nice whitewashed look for our piece of our stencil to go on. I mean, transfer. We're going to put a transfer on this side here. Okay, here's this before again, so we're going to do that once more. We've just got a mixture of the Fusion Mineral Paint Colour Mist and water. So again, we're just laying that straight on to our crate wood, raw pine. Got lots on the brush, so I'm going to just try and remove some of that excess over here before I'll go through then and get into the crevices. I want to get into those little edge bits on both sides, in here and in here. So I know that I've shown creating a wash for a stain several times on my lives. Who's tried that? Who's tried it now since we've been showing that, how to create a stain wash or a whitewash? You can use any colour paint, any of the Fusion paints, any water-based paint. Make sure you've got a good quality paint, and you can use that, do that same principle with chalk paint. But let me know in the comments if you've tried using the stain wash idea. Oh, and I forgot to bring it out, but if you are using a stain or a wash, it's different than painting it on. So you will need to, using paint. With the mineral paint, it does have a built-in top coat, but once you water that down, it compromises the top coat ability. So you do want to actually seal it once you've finished your project. So I would be sealing this today after we're completely finished. Donna, you have? There's a few people who make stains with paint, so yeah, that's great. So you can see there's little flecky bits here. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but that's the grain that's opened up. Drying off quite well there, and it is soaking into the wood, so you can see that. Okay, now I forget which part I painted and which part I did one coat, or which part I did 2 coats. It was this side, wasn't it? So this just has 1 coat on it, and it's a lot better than the original orange look. But I think I'd like to do just 1 more coat and show you the difference. Everyone's saying they like the whitewash on the coat. Oops, I missed a question there. Love your idea for toning down the coat. Yeah. So remember that. So for orange, you counteract it with the blue tone paint. And for yellow, a bit more of a purple. For red tones, you use the greenish undertones. So for a red toned wood, I'd probably use something more on the lines of eucalypt in the Fusion range, eucalyptus colour. So you can see that second coat going down now. It's a little bit of a difference. And also getting those little in-between bits. We've got knots in the pine, and that all adds character to the piece, to the crate. So we've got our 2 coats on there, but again, that will dry and you'll still see a lot more of that wood grain coming through. Okay, so we've got 2 coats on there, and we'll do 2 coats on our top. The wash will go a long way, so you really only need a tiny little bit of paint. Oh, Kathleen says her puppy's going crazy every time she hears Olive barking. Hopefully she's stopped for a while. She's settled now over on her little spot on the couch. Maybe she'll have a little nap. Okay, so now I'm just going to set that bit aside. I will dry off this because I want to work on the other side of the crate. And then I'll come back and go back to our other sign. So we're doing two projects today. We missed earlier. Doing this crate, we're going to add a transfer to it, and I'm also creating a fun round sign with one of the Essential Stencil stencils. So we've got this one here. Let's come down a bit. So you can see this one. And this is the stencil, it's called Romans 12:12, and it has that particular verse on it. Thank you, Lois, for sprinkling our live out. So this is a single stencil, but with our stencils, you can use them over and over again. Just wash them clean when you're finished. You don't have to wash them. Sometimes, you know, we can get lazy and not wash them, but they will last a lot longer. If you can wash them. I usually just use a bit of you can use dish soap. I use the Awesome Spray only because I am doing it after a live and they've had time to completely dry. Also, the Fusion Mineral Paint adheres really well to all the different surfaces, and so it actually sticks really well to this. So I need some Awesome Spray to get it off. All right, so we're placing this right in the center, and then we're going to do some decorations around here with our Buzzy Bee transfers, which are back in stock. So if you haven't got those yet, or you missed out last time they were in stock, they're back. I'm going to defuzz this a little bit with just tacking it onto the drop cloth, and that leaves it a little bit less tacky for our newly painted surface. So it's not going to, but it won't move, but it's not going to stick so well to that. I've got a piece of cardboard here. Oh, Vicky, good question. Over time, will the orange tint ever come back through? I'm not sure. I haven't really thought or practiced or experimented with that. I don't know. I'll have to tell you. It depends if I have this crate for a very long time. But we'll see. Okay, so I've got this. I'm going to use Fusion's Coal Black, which is a nice true black colour for our painted stencil surface. And we'll grab one of our stencil brushes. Let's just get this one, and it is a 5/8 inch brush. It's one of the most popular sizes. I've got a cardboard to offload on. We just grab a little bit of the paint there. We've got way too much on the brush, so I will offload that onto our cardboard and then just swirl around the brush to work that into the bristles. So I've got a nice little blob here that I can refresh my brush with if I need to. Oh, Maggie, that's a good idea too. She uses a Mr. Clean eraser, so one of those little erasers that help to clean. They're great. Okay, so just doing a swirling motion now. We've got and I can use that swirling motion on here because I've got hardly any paint on the brush. If I had a lot of paint on my brush, swirling it like this, it would leak all under the stencil, and you'd get those what we call bleed through. And it would all seep through under the stencil and create really fuzzy edges, and that's not what we want. We want nice crisp edges. So now I'm starting to run out of paint on the brush, which is okay. I'd rather run out and dip it in again and have less on the brush. So I go back over here where I've got a little bit more paint, add it to the bristles. Hello, Christy, welcome. Just saw you jump in there and join in. Oh, a little bit more we need, so just grab all that. And it's better to be able to do 2 coats of one colour rather than have too much on your brush thinking, oh, I need a really good solid coat of paint on this. If you get too much on your brush, it's going to, really create trouble for you. You're going to get all those fuzzy edges, so we don't want that. I love this little script font down here. So we'll see what that looks like when we're finished. But oops, every now and then I think, oh, did I have too much on my brush then for this tiny little font that's hopefully not going to have bleeding and fuzzy edges, because some of the really tiny fonts, you definitely don't want the fuzzy edges for that, because then it makes it even more illegible. But they're really pretty. So if you did need an extra coat, you can wait till this dries or dry it with the hairdryer again. I'm going to go down here at the bottom, hit our little Romans 12:12 verse. There we go. So now this is sort of dried back here, I could probably come back over and do second coat, making sure it's nice and solid. But if you wanted to, you could wait and, you know, hit that with the hairdryer. Make sure it's super dry first. If you do get, if you do the second coat too quickly, it can sometimes pull off that first coat, and that's not a good look either. So make sure that that's first dry. I think this is getting a bit too... Yes, Renee says the puppy's very excited. Any noise outside and she gets so excited. Oh, I'm sorry, Maggie. Is it too hard to hear me if she's barking? Yes, I could probably put her in another room, and then that would cause scratching at the door. Sorry, I didn't think about it earlier. I actually went to go live today and was trying to set up my phone to get ready, and my phone went black. It just died, and I mean, I've got full battery on my phone, so I was in a bit of a flap before I went live this morning. It's like, oh my goodness, why has my phone just died? So I had to restart it, start all over again, and that takes minutes, you know, so I'm like, the minutes are counting down. Puppy was a last thought of like, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to take these off. And you can see there, beautiful, nice, crisp letters, because we had just the right amount on the brush. So if you're really not sure on how much you've got, you know, how much to put on your brush, how much paint to put on your brush, practice, practice, practice. That'll make it perfect. And we're going to decorate this one now. Making sure that's all... She is outside now. Oh, what have we got? All right, I'm just going to put my computer back in, or that might die while I'm trying to do my live. So we've got a few, and I've just cut all these up. But here is I also cut this out of the back of the transfers. Now these ones are back in stock now. The honeybees, they were really popular, and so those are back in stock. We've got 2 full sheets with different designs on them. You've got gorgeous honey jars, all the things. We've even got some beautiful flowers. So I've cut them all out individually, popped them into the plastic bag so that they're ready. You know, I could cut this bee separately, put that somewhere separately also. But you know, you've got the lavender also. Here's a cute little bee. But look at the beautiful jars. They're just nice watercolors. We've got lavender here that you can put separately. There's another cute honey jar. So probably, I think I would leave the honey jar as a feature for something else, but maybe the flowers might work. We could probably possibly work with those. A little flower here and a bee. There's another flower. Got some more bees and a lavender. These are cute. Now that would look great at the bottom of a stenciled sign, wouldn't it? I think that would look gorgeous. And we've got these ones here, nice tall stemmed flowers. So I don't know who else cuts theirs out and just has a little feel around as to what might work. And another gorgeous large jar there, and a couple of the other jars I've probably already used for other things. So I'll just pop those aside, and let's work with what we've got over here and have a think about where these might fit. So we've got some lavender pieces. I do have the scissors here, so we can cut some more things out. Cut this bee off. So remembering that white background disappears, so we're not going to have the white background there. So if I need to put some of that over, going over words, that's okay. All right, so we've got another bee down here. I do like the lavender. I wonder if I can get some lavender in here. So we've got lavender, can separate that with the bees. Some more lavender here. Or maybe I could just leave it with the, what are these? Are these magnolia flowers? Can anyone tell me? I'm not sure. But see these little lavender sprigs? We could put them together in a little bunch down here. So many different options with these transfers. Could do that down there, the flower up here, and maybe a bee or two buzzing around. Or we could pop this one over here. That looks good too. That sort of fits in nicely with this area. And the lavender could also fit over the top of that too. So, or we could just make it really super simple and have a few bees buzzing around. A smaller flower over here with some bees just randomly buzzing around. This one looks a bit large. Oh, that works too. And maybe some bees. I might have to look at it separately. We may leave the lavender off for now. So just using our tool for the transfers, and we've got to take the white paper backing off, and we're left with the plastic with the design, which we put down exactly where we want it. Olive, quiet. Quiet. Good girl. And all we're doing is rubbing that. So it does have a sticky backing, and now we need to just rub that transfer down, and it really does enhance our stencil sign. So instead of just the black and white words, we've got some gorgeous images on the sign, creating a beautiful look on that. So I've just painted this with Fusion Mineral Paint White called Casement, and the black is Coal Black, which is their nice true black. And you can get 10% off using my code IRestoreStuff at Essential Stencil for the transfers and stencil, or at my Fusion Mineral Paint link if you were interested in purchasing the Fusion paint. And they come in tester bottles too, which are perfect for stenciling because your little stencil brushes fit right in those tester bottles. So there we go. I've got one down, and you can see how beautiful that looks. It just looks like I've painted it on there. No, I'm not the artist. But it makes it look like I've got a nice bit of art. So this flower's similar size. I might use this one, which is a little bit smaller. And those bees sitting at the top of those, I think they'll work. What do you think? I think that'll work nicely. Thank you, Charlene. Love those flowers. The magnolias. Thank you for those who are telling me what it is, what the flower is. I thought it might have been magnolias. All right, so we've put that right here, sort of balancing that out. And again, you could pop some little bees down there. I'm not sure if the lavender is going to work this time. We'll put that on something else. We could even use the lavender on our crate, because in a minute, if you missed it earlier, oops, I'm stretching to reach my transfer. We're going to be putting this on the crate that I just whitewashed. So if you missed that earlier, I was showing you how to whitewash to assist in toning down the orangey pine tones on something that you might have, a piece of furniture maybe, or you might be trying to paint a wooden crate and you want to get rid of those orangey tones. So that will only work if it's raw wood, if it's got a varnish over it and it's your golden pine looking, finish from the 80s or 90s, then you might have to scuff and get rid of that top varnish first before whitewashing. So a wash will only work if it doesn't have a sealed surface. So that's really important to note. Okay, we've got, this is coming off just beautifully here. I have a feeling there's a courier coming today with a delivery of paint, and I'm like, oh, don't come while there's nobody here and there's only me. Oh, isn't that just gorgeous? I love that. I think that's perfect. I was going to add some little things down here, but I'll have a look at that later and you know, see what it's calling to me. But that gives you a beautiful idea of how that might work. Now I might have to lift the camera up a bit for our crate here. Move some things out of the way. Because this one we're going to do a nice, gorgeous, big transfer. This one here. Oh, I love it. I love the white and the white, etc. Okay, let's see. How are we all going? I can still see, whoop, this way we need to go. So I've got my crate here. I might kind of tip it a little bit at an angle so we can see that there. So we've got our nice whitewashed crate looking great. And I might go with this side because this one has had plenty of time to dry and it's not even got the slightest bit of wet now. It shouldn't. We've got our nice surface here. Now, little note, this transfer won't fit. I'll take it out, but I already knew that. I was just looking for anything, something that I've got it in my house, and I'll need to get some more wooden signs that I can use these large, gorgeous transfers on because I love them so much. So I'm going to get my husband to cut me up some more wood. So it's a single set transfer. I've got the link for that right there in our description of our live, making sure I'm doing it. That's the bottom. This is the top. Let me measure this for you because you want to know how big the crate is. And it's 18 inches by about 10 inches on this surface, and the width is 12. So it's 18 by 10, so it's not going to fit this way, but what I'm going to do is cut off this country fields right here because this lavender flowers will fit beautifully on that bottom rung. We are going to have some gaps here, but that's okay. So what I'll do is I'll just cut this country fields off and the little piece of lavender, and I can use them for a different project, or I could use them for the other side of my crate and put a stencil down the bottom, you know, have the country fields on the other side like this, because that fits nicely right here. So that could work. You can kind of see how that works. So we've got that. And my husband thought of this idea too. We could put this on and then put this over the top. So we could do that too, but I'm not sure. I think the black might get lost in those flowers. So I think it'd be nicer just on by itself on the other side of the crate or something to that effect. So we've got some little bits coming off here, but that's okay. We won't worry about that. So now I'm going to add this to my crate. Oh, guys, I'm nervous. I'm going to put it right down to the bottom where the Lavender Market might be. Who's nervous with me? So I'm going to have to put it down, but we are going to miss these gaps in here. But I like how this will show. So here's my line of where the wood will be. So we might miss a little bit of that teacup and these gorgeous little sacks here with lavender in them, lavender sachets. But let's just see how it goes, shall we? Who's ready with me? So we peel off our white backing. Remember, this is a one-off transfer, so when I put it down, that's where it's going to be. So I want to get it right to the end as far as I can. So, don't stick. I dropped it. Okay, so I want to get that right to the bottom so that I've got hardly any lavender lost at the top. That's where it's going to be. So we will lose these bits in the middle. And if you're not okay with that, do it on something else. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Okay, so what I want to do is I could get the scissors and sort of cut these edges here, or I could just kind of see how it goes. If I did have, and I should have got this earlier, is a Stanley knife, and that might cut easier there. But what I want to do is really just rub this first. I think that will be the go, to rub it first. But I love that the whitewash really goes well with the lavender, I think. That purpley tone with the bluey tone, which you can't really tell because it's just kind of evened out those orange tones. I can't wait to see how this turns out. Everyone's saying, I can't wait to see how it turns out. Yes, you can cut the stencil to work to make it fit. I mean, the transfer, yeah. And I could have done that too. Could have cut it each sheet. It might have been easier. So if you have seen a better way of doing this, by all means, try it that way. Because there will be some edges here that we will need to cut. Let me see what happens if I just cut this like so. just don't want it to be messy, you know. So I can feel the scissors, the edge, going right on the edge. I'm hoping that my scissors do a little, yeah, there we go. Ah, stuck. That's working now. There we go. I was hoping that they would do that, you know? That feels so good when it can just sound effects for you. This one, I probably need to go back this way because the blade of the scissors sits closer to the edge when I go this way. So let's try that with this first layer. See how we can get that out. I'd love to be able to use, what could you use this little strip for? I mean, it would have to be used immediately, really, right? Or can I put it back onto the white sheet? Maybe it would go back on the white sheet. There we go, I like that. You know when you, anyone else get a satisfaction out of when you're using wrapping paper and you just, and your scissors go just smoothly right across? Let's see. I don't know. It works if I put it back on there, but you know, what could I use that for? I don't know, maybe there's another purpose for a bit of lavender peeking through something. All right, so let's go on with this and we'll remove this part and I will get those little bits that are just near the edge, rub them down. Nice and smoothly, grabbing this, making sure you're still in the shot here and you can see that nice and closely because this is such a high crate project. Okay, so we've got the nice lavender. What's going on? Oh, I've got my board here it's sitting on. How are we going? Is it going to work? Patty says it's going to look great. So hopefully she's right. So maybe you could do this with, you know, the cow transfers and the other ones too. So just got to make sure your whitewash is nice and dried. Oops. So I'm just lifting it up and then putting it back down if I start to see that it sort of needs a little bit more help. And then we'll go over that, smooth it down with my fingers if there's any little wrinkles or anything like that. So this is coming off nicely. Such beautiful transfers, aren't they? I love the watercolor look, the watercolor artwork. Can you imagine this crate now filled with just bunches of lavender? It'd be adorable. Nearly done, there we go. So just smoothing down those edges with my fingers. And again, we will seal this with a nice flat matte sealer after we've finished. I think we'll do that again with this side. What do you guys think? I'll go with the scissors because it just worked really well. And just as long as they're lying right up against the, I do love that little teacup. It's a shame to miss that. Maybe you can find a crate that has, you know, less of a gap in it. So again, using this side of the scissors because the blade sits right against, whereas if I go on this side, there's a bit of a gap. So just go to wherever your blade is going to sit nicely against the wood. Oh, that went nice and smooth. Oh, missed a bit. Okay, just going to stick that down here, but again, I can't think of any purpose. Maybe I'll check your comments. Someone might have thought of how they could reuse those again. But I think that'll work. I think it'll work nicely. Let's have a look. Oop. And we'll get these little edge bits, and they can sort of, if you go over the edge, they kind of fold over the corner. So you can get a bit of that going on down there. And this middle one, we've got to go over this side as well. Just going over that with the little tool. You don't have to use this tool, but they are so handy. You can get some more at Essential Stencil. the brushes, I believe, are all in stock at the moment, Essential Stencil brushes, unless someone knows different. Yeah, I love how this is going to turn out. What else would you fill it with? You could use it for the bathroom, a laundry with some towels in it, or laundry things, canisters. Well, this one's coming off really super smoothly. Whoop, except right there when it joins the wood again. So it's those nice big flat surfaces go great, and then it just needs a little help rubbing over it again with a tool. We've got our edge there. Here we go. All right, last one, and again we're going over this edge here. Make sure we've got that lying down against the crepe on the inside. I'm just pulling that back now. Ooh, so this wood is a little bit more, has more ridges on it, so I'm just going to have to use a bit of a corner of this tool to get into those ridges to make sure this comes off nice and smoothly. With the words seem a little trickier because of these ridges. There we go. Every now and then, just give it an extra rub. So if you missed the beginning, I showed you how to create that wash, which we've got on the background. Lends to a great background for this, but also imagine that wash on just a nice pine piece of wood to use for a hanging sign. Same kind of principle, you could use the wash to do that. And this was a very orangey pine, because when you leave pine for some time, and this didn't have any sealer on it either, it was just raw pine, it just does tend to go orange over time. So yeah, someone was asking, with the wash on it, will that orange over time again? I really don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to research that a bit more. Or do an experiment, but I don't know, how many years does it take? Sometimes we have furniture for years and we've bought it and we remember buying it in pine and it wasn't that orange when we purchased it, but over years it tends to yellow and go that golden colour, doesn't it? Even with a sealer or varnish over the top. That's looking great. So just pushing down those edges again. So this has got a nice sticky background to the transfers. And you can take your time doing this. If you do rush like I'm trying to rush now, it can be a bit tedious. And now I'm working up a sweat, guys. Perspiring. Take my sweater off. Someone said orange pine is so old-fashioned. Yeah, it is probably from 80s, 90s. But who knows? I mean, 80s, 90s in fashion is kind of making a resurgence. So I don't know, will we see the orange pine look come back again? Guys, what do you think? I know Fusion Mineral Paint has just come out with some gorgeous stain and finishing oils as well. So if you do use my code there, you can grab a hold of those brand new ones. There's some new colors. I think they're available at the main website now, but I'll have to check on that. But yeah, if you're looking for those ones, there's a gorgeous walnut color that's a bit lighter than their cappuccino stain. And there's also heartwood, which is sort of a reddish tone stain or purplish tone. There's another similar to driftwood, I can't remember the name of it, taupe. There's a taupe colour. Some nice colours have come out. 4 new stain and finishing oils. So, all right, guys. Sometimes these larger transfers take a lot more time, don't they? We'll have to speed up the video to show this one. There we go. I think we're done. Yes. All right. I think that worked out just fabulous. Look at that. And you can still sort of see the overall picture, even though it's got those little pieces missing in the middle. Sorry about the teacup. Such a shame. And I have no idea. Can you really use these for anything? I don't know. But I've kept them there. The little slits. I don't know. Maybe we could do something with them. But again, we could use this. Let's have a look. We could use that country fields at the top. Or I could add some kind of stencil over on this side. And use this either right in the center. Oh, guys. Yeah, I think let's do it. Let's do that. Just to finish us off for today. Let's just put it in the center. That's going to be perfect. Now, don't go anywhere because we're going to be picking some prize winners in a minute. Any minute now. Hopefully I've got that in the center. And we've got 3 gift cards to give away to 3 lucky winners. That could be you. So they always pick from the discussion in our chat. So that's one benefit of chatting. Plus, I get to look through your comments. And if you have any questions about stenciling or transferring, please let us know in the comments. Or for me, I mean, I specialize in painting furniture and home decor. So if you've got any questions about painting in general, don't forget you can always check out my blog at irestorestuff.com. That is where you can find more about me, more of the painting furniture type thing. Oh, this is coming off pretty easily. And these are the Country Fields Lavender, let's see, it's called Lavender Market for transfer, but it's right there in the link in the description of the live. And don't forget to use the code iRestoreStuff. And if you're purchasing more than one, they will discount. The more you purchase, the more the discount. The details are right there on the link. You can have a look at the link there, and it'll take you to the transfers, and then you'll be able to see, hey, buy this many and you'll save this much or whatever. But then you save a further 10% with using my code. So there's that as well. Ta-da! Oh, guys, I like that. Very cute. So we've got Country Fields on this side, the whole Lavender Market on the other side. So let's see. We also did this today. So if you did miss this one, let's have a look. There we are. There's my blog, iRestoreStuff. Use code iRestoreStuff and follow me at iRestoreStuff. Anywhere you're on social media. Instagram. I love to hang out on Instagram. Show you all the stories and everything. Oh, so there we go. We've got the bees. And look, you could even add some of those honeybees to your crate here. We could even add the bees to this side. But yeah, go back and watch the replay if you didn't see how we whitewashed this. This was a really orangey, golden orange pine looking thing. And so we've created a whitewash with a blue tone. So I did use Fusion Mineral Paints Color Mist. And you can use my code iRestoreStuff there as well at the link that I've got in that description there or in the pinned comment. And so they have restocked these honeybee transfers and also the Lavender Market transfers, which you saw just here. And let me see, have we got some winners? That's all right. Oh, thank you, Christy. She says you've thoroughly enjoyed this evening. I always love hanging out with you guys. Sometimes I'm seeing more comments down here than I am on my phone, so I'm just kind of looking down to see. Oh, thank you, Judy. You are so welcome. So let me know if you see some winners. Oh, there we go. I see it on my phone before I see it on the laptop. So we've got winners today, Casey, Christy, and Christy. 2 different spellings. So we've got Casey Hilligos, Christy Trout, and Christy Scott. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for the time that you always spend with me on my lives. I just love it. I love hanging out with you guys. You're the most wonderful and loving community. Honestly, you really make my day. Every Thursday for me here in Australia, but it's every Wednesday night for you guys. So Wednesday night, 7 p.m. See you next week. Bye.